Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Corey Ballmeister.
No.
I'll do his part. Welcome to Versus Live. He's Ross Merriam. I'm Corey Ballmeister. No, I got you.
We've got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns.
And technical issues.
Yeah. We might have some extra burns today.
We might.
In the chat. Make sure you tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. We have the entire set of Ikoria, Lair of the Behemoth.
It's all out.
And that means we get to start really exploring some of the older formats.
Yeah.
And we're going to do some Pioneer today. We've looked at a lot of Standard over the last 2 weeks. Now we're going to get into Pioneer, and this is now the second set that's been released since Pioneer was made a format.
Yep.
And the first one kind of completely reshaped the entire metagame.
It literally flipped it upside down, or inverted it, if you will. But
the three most successful decks since Theros Beyond Death have been a Heliod deck, an Uro deck, and a Thassa's Oracle deck.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's a tough act to follow here for Ikoria, but there are some nice ones, and we're going to be going through some of the cards we think have promise today, and hopefully show them off in some cool shells.
Yeah.
I'm going to be starting with a Mardu Sacrifice deck.
It was so good in Standard, we had to bring it over because it looked insane.
Played it twice over our exploration of Standard, and both times it just looked incredible.
Yeah.
The list is going to be somewhat similar to what you saw in Standard, but with some juicy additions of Pioneer. You get Cartel Aristocrat as a 2-mana sacrifice outlet, and one that's very difficult to kill, which is nice. You get Hangerback Walker as an excellent source of just a number of bodies. And then you get Bloodsoaked Champion.
That's a weird one to bring back with Broodmoth. It gets a flying counter.
It gets a flying counter. When it comes back and dies, it'll trigger your Cruel Celebrant again.
And Midnight Reaper and stuff,
and Midnight Reaper, so you get your extra triggers. I am playing essentially Orzhov, but I'm splashing still for Mayhem Devil because that card is so powerful.
Yeah.
It's also easier to work Mayhem Devil into the curve in Pioneer. I know I've had some issues trying to brew full Mardu decks in Standard because you're glutted at 3.
Yeah.
All your sacrifice outlets are 3 mana.
But now we got a lot of 2s.
Yeah, when you get Cartel Aristocrat and you get Hangerback Walker, suddenly the 3 slot opens up in your curve, and Mayhem Devil is very easy to slot in.
Yeah, it's pretty weird that Standard is all about just 1s and 3s. There really is not many really effective 2s. I mean, we have Croxa, we have Priest, but the 3 slot is just pumped full. So,
yep. And so I'm playing that. I'm using Savai Triome to help splash it. I'm a little skeptical of more ETB tapped lands. I also have to get rid of Fabled Passage in order to play this. Not sure it's better than playing Fabled Passage, but definitely wanted to give it a try, see how these lands
cool.
Look. These lands were previewed the night after our last episode, last Thursday, so we haven't gotten to play with them yet. We definitely wanted to see them in action, and we'll see, how they play in Pioneer, because these are a step up from the tri-lands that we've seen. Obviously, they just have cycling.
I believe they're tricycles now, right? That's been confirmed that we're supposed to use that.
It has literally been confirmed that we do not use that.
Oh, okay. I knew it was confirmed one way, so I wasn't sure.
I guess you're new here, but those kinds of kitschy names, Cedric hates them.
Hates them?
Hates them.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. But they're so fun. They're tries, they cycle.
Yeah, well, people tried to call the dual lands that cycled for 2 mana bicycle lands. This is the extension of that.
So it's just the same person?
Probably.
Yeah.
When Battle for Zendikar was released, the lands in that set, that need 2 basics to enter untapped.
Yeah.
The kitschy name for them was Tango lands, because it takes 2 to tango.
Okay, I see why Cedric puts the kibosh to these funny names. That one's too much.
The people out there in internet land, they go deep.
Yeah.
They go deep.
And then somebody says these names of the cards so often that I adopt them, and then you get the slap on the hand. Be like, no, don't do that.
But unfortunately, they are all named Triomes, so it's a very easy built-in name for them.
All right. Way less fun, but sure, we'll go with Triomes.
What do you got for us today?
Okay, so I'm going to be playing Golgari Scales. This was a deck that Dom Harvey wrote about right when the Ozolith was printed, thinking that, this is going to have applications in Pioneer as well as severe applications in Modern. So I think the Oculus and Luris of the Dream Den, I think these are two cards that have huge potential, not really for Standard, because the deck requirements for this companion are kind of crippling. Like, we might be able to find a really aggressive deck that uses it, but it is a pretty big constraint, only having 2 mana converted mana cost or less. But in modern formats, when you're playing like Jund, where you can play just Tarmogoyf as your top end, Kroxa, a bunch of removal spell, Ren and 6, maybe something like that. Like, I think you can kind of do that in modern a little bit more effectively.
The density of powerful 1 and 2 mana plays is much higher in older formats, modern and here in Pioneer, that you can make it work. So Dom reworked his Scales deck to make Luris work, and honestly, like, if you get to recast your Winding Constrictors and your Scales in the graveyard, recast your Ballistas in the graveyard, like, it's going to make it so much easier to assemble your synergies, and that's what this deck is about.
Exactly, and yeah, Ballista stands out to me as like the slam dunk, because unless you're playing against a deck with a ton of removal spells here, you're not going to maybe get a ton of cards into the graveyard, and the ability might not be that insane, but I mean, we still trade in combat or something. But Ballista is that one thing, like, okay, I have nothing to do with my mana, 2 to you, replay it for 4. Something like that could easily happen. So this deck kind of always gets to use his mana, which I like.
Yeah, great mana sink, resilience to removal. Ozolith also helps you out quite a bit against removal, just keeping those counters around.
Yeah, exactly. And Ozolith, for anybody who hasn't seen this card, it's 1 colorless. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put it onto the Ozolith. At the beginning of your combat on your turn, if you have counters on it, you may switch it off to another creature. So this works with Hardened Scales when you put it onto a creature, and with Winding Constrictor, it actually works both ways. When the creature dies, because Winding Constrictor says creature or artifact. So when something goes onto the Ozolith and you have a snake in play, you'll get an additional counter. And then we go to beginning of combat, you put it on something else, you get an additional counter. And if we have 2 or 3 of these effects, your opponent's head explodes. So
your head explodes too.
Good luck from math.
Yeah,
I've been doing a lot of long division to get ready for all of these counters. I'm going to be putting on my artifact creatures. Yeah,
it's not the
doing
any long division here, Corey.
Well, not with that attitude, mister.
we're just adding single-digit numbers. Hopefully, single-digit numbers. If we get to double digits, things are going poorly.
You can back it up then, at that point. So these are going to be the new cards, and then we have Heartless Act in the sideboard, just as a very efficient removal spell, which we'll probably see in this matchup here. But yeah, this is going to be our first one.
Both decks definitely trying to assemble their synergies. We'll see who's get to be more powerful. I think yours are going to be a little bit faster to come online, I think.
I think so, yeah.
Curve's a little lower, more compact, so...
The thing that... sorry to interrupt you there, but I also think the thing that really makes me a little bit more skeptic about this deck from Standard to Pioneer, like if the Mardu Sacrifice deck is going to be just as bad as in Standard, is this card right here. This card is running rampant in Pioneer. It's stock in 2 of the best decks, Sultai Midrange and Dimir Inverter as a 4 of in the main deck. So, and Fatal Push is just going to be great against you, hitting every single creature, your enablers. It's pretty rough with Cartel Aristocrat, and if you set up something like that, it's not going to be as effective. But on the early turns, picking off your early stuff could be bad, and I am a deck that plays 4 as well. So,
well, I play 4 if you main and sideboard.
Well,
3 main, 1 on the board.
Well, yeah.
Turns out
Fatal Push is also very good against me too. So
it's really good in this deck because you have the sack outlets. You're turning on Revolt so often.
And like always, you have the what? Oh my god! I won a show. I won an Ikoria show. Not only did I win a match of Ikoria, I won a whole show. Life is good. So you get to go first this time.
You get to go first.
You just love Pioneer so much that you really wanted to be able to have a little advantage during it, didn't you?
Unfortunately, I'm going to be conceding that advantage with this hand that has no 1 or 2 drops.
Okay, this hand is a little awkward, but we have a really solid curve. Whenever you look at a hand and you have a 1-drop, a 2-drop, and a 3rd land, you always have a 3rd drop or a 3-drop as well. So I mean, the fact that you have a companion means that effectively I have an 8-card hand. This would be cheating in Magic. Don't do this, but yeah, I mean, this seems completely fine because of it.
Okay. Better hand here.
All right. Is it going to be Ross Merriam today, or is it going to be Lost Merriam? The first match usually dictates it, don't you think, Rob?
Okay.
Hey, yeah, there's normally a trend that starts pretty early.
Exactly,
I don't have any red mana, so this Mayhem Devil will go to the bottom for now.
Okie dokie, let's do it, bud.
On Concealed Courtyard.
Okay. Now we're going to go with take 2. So this is a good thing to look at here as far as lands. Like, we could play Waste just to take 1 damage here, but next turn I'm almost assuredly using it as well. So we might as well get the Tomb down and play Hardened Scales. Pass to you.
I will play Cartel Aristocrat.
All right.
Pass the turn. A Naked Aristocrat.
A Naked Aristocrat. I think there's laws against that. Okay.
Not if they're practicing social distancing. If they're in this side, they're on home. It's fine.
That's true. Okay, good call. All right, Snaky Snake, and I'll pass to you.
It's a scary set of draws.
Yeah.
I will play a Midnight Reaper and pass it.
You don't want to attack? Okay. But you can give it protection.
Westvale Abbey was very awkward.
Okay. I think I am going to... We have a decent choice now. I think we want to start getting a counter engine into play to start using Scales and Constrictor. So we're going to go with a Steel Overseal and Ozolith, which doesn't look very good right now, but hopefully it'll come with some value. Pass to you.
Oh, no. That's so awkward.
Westvale Abbey, huh? Very powerful card that we saw most recently in, remember, Autumn Burchett's Golgari land from the Invite?
Yeah.
I was so sad they banned Field. After that, I really wanted to build that deck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I got to play it for a little bit because I think they banned it on like a Wednesday or something. So I played it a little bit and it was fun. I really don't even think it would be that good against Inverter. You know, like looking back, I think it would be okay. But once again, that's another deck that just shut down aggro. And like Uro is already doing enough of that work. Checks for Artifact on Mutavault? Nope. Shapeshifter means Artifact as well, right? If only. You got a tough one over there, huh?
Yeah, the Westvale Abbey is really screwed by mana.
Oh, wow. I screwed up my last turn so bad. I just realized something that would have been pretty cute. Dang it.
Really wish this was Zulaport Cutthroat.
Hey, before you do anything, can I switch a play?
Sure.
Okay. I noticed an interaction that I can do next turn here. So starting off, I'm just going to play Lurrus. Since no information was gained, I got a spicy turn next turn if I make this play. So we're going to try this.
Okay. With you playing a Lurrus, I think I was going to try like plink in for 2 this turn, but when you get to crack back with a lifelinker, that's not nearly as good. So I'm just going to play a second Cartel Aristocrat and pass.
Okay. So now we're going to try our turn that might be a little better. It's not insanely... not a ton better, but it does seem like a better play to me. So I'm going to go with Construct and then play this. Then we just get the tokens right away. So if you kill Steel Overseer... Oh, wait, no, it doesn't work like that, does it? Oh, because it has to have a counter and then it gets an additional? No. Yeah, okay. All right.
Mimic gives it a counter.
So it gives it 3 counters.
Yes.
Okay. Sweet. All right. So now if Steel Overseer dies, at least the counters will be transferred over once we get Ozolith into play. But for now, is it worth it to attack with Lurrus? I'm kind of thinking not.
To trade Lurrus with a Cartel Aristocrat, because that's what you're going to do.
Yeah. But I mean, it might be worth it to trade Winding Constrictor here because of the fact that it could be coming back. But if I lose Lurrus, it's a little bit worse. But you don't have black for it this turn. You only have 2 cards. Do I want you to draw a card? Not really. I'll pass to you. That's close. But just double blocking with Aristocrat, you're happy to get rid of 1 to make your draw a little bit better next turn.
Indeed I am. It's an interesting draw.
Now I'm really in the Walking Ballista waiting room.
Should I start the elevator music now?
Yes, please.
Gonna play Hunted Witness.
Okay.
I'm going to sacrifice to Cartel Aristocrat, give it Pro Black.
Okay.
Get a 19, get a Jerry Thompson.
Okay.
Draw a card.
Jerry's back on versus. I am at 18, correct, my friend.
And
How dare you?
I will Fatal Push the Luris.
Yeah, it makes sense to just kill Luris right away. And that was another thing that I wanted to play around was if I attack with Constrictor, you take that trade and now nothing's coming back. You don't have to play that elevator music for too long, okay?
That's a good draw.
It might have been a good one.
Is it a Walking Ballista?
It sure was. All right, I'm going to play
Well,
Ozolith.
it can't be Walking Ballista.
What? Walking Ballista. Yeah, just, yeah. So 2 gets a +1 plus these.
Oh, I forgot the
Yeah.
one from the Mimic.
Yeah, so 5. This wow, this is gonna be insane. Okay, now the question is, do I want to get in there with anything, or how do I want to approach killing things? And I think step 1 is just dealing with Midnight Reaper here, to stop you from getting too much going there. So deal 1.
Yep.
Deal 1.
Response, Actor Aristocrat.
Okay.
So this will be Pro Black. I'll draw a card.
You go to 18.
Yep.
Pro Black. So I cannot. What I'm considering is attacking with Mimic here because I can steal Overseer to put on 3 counters onto it. So 4 toughness, and then it would also be 3 counters on a Walking Ballista. The only thing I'm considering here is playing around a second Fatal Push, where he probably wants to use his mana effectively at end step, but I want to make sure I get 3 counters on here, because that's killing a lot of creatures. So, but Ross is a smart fella. He's not going to tap that black unless he really needs to. But I still think it's worth it here. All right, I'll attack with the Mimic. Just 2.
16.
All right, pass to you. I really am valuing this +3/+3 counters onto the Walking Ballista. It's probably one of my brothers, Brad Nelson's favorite Magic cards. Built one of the sickest Aristocrats deck. Do you remember that, Rob?
I was not playing at the time.
Oh, you weren't? Okay.
No, I was later than that.
There was the 2-mana demon, 1 colorless, 1 black. Whenever you lost a creature, you could just tap it and like play a 5/5, right? That's how that worked. So it was just sacking a bunch of creatures, dropping 4.
Skur's deck, High Priest.
High Priest, yeah. Just a disgusting card.
Yeah, you had to tap it and 2 other creatures.
Mhm.
You had Morbid, so like the line of like turn 1 Doom Traveler, turn 2 it, turn 3 Cartel Aristocrat, sack the Doom Traveler, turn on Morbid, get the token, tap it, make a 5/5 on turn 3.
Yep.
Fatal Push your thing, or Tragic Slip actually.
Yep. We were getting nostalgic since he had his last week at SCG, and I was, asking him what is your favorite decks of all time in your career, and that was definitely one of them.
Was it the Act 2? I assume the one he played with because then he played Absent Aristocrats after that.
Yep. Well, Act 2 was the one that like Blasphemous acted onto your thing, right? I think he meant just this one.
It was the Absent one that had Skur's deck Hybrid.
Yep.
I played that deck too, and Lingering Souls, that deck was nice.
Yep.
But then they reprinted Scavenging Ooze that July, and it got way worse.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh god, I'm just trying to. I can't really beat this Ballista, and I'm trying to figure out like what the best way for me to try to play through it is.
So you're saying these might be good against you? Probably not as good. But.
Yeah, no, not Jesus, you're gonna activate Overseer and end step. That's gonna become a 7/7, a 5/4, and a 6/6. 14, 16. So I actually have to play something else, or I'm just dead.
Okay.
And then if I draw Fatal Push, I need to be... Yeah, I just need to play it, throw a bunch of stuff away at this. So let's play Hunted Witness first, and then Cruel Celebrant.
In response. Activate.
Yeah.
Just making sure you're tapped out, you know. I wasn't even going to... I was kind of hoping you were going to leave mana open because I was not going to activate. Because the value of untapping with 4 mana and being able to double pump, you know, I think was valuable. And now I probably... So...
Now you can just untap. Right?
Well, I want to maybe kill something before this comes into play.
Oh, sure.
So let's go kill this. Kill that. Kill that. I guess that doesn't matter, but yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
Done?
Yep.
Okay. Untap. I'll play a Ballista for 1.
Why don't you just play it for 3?
Because I'm going to pump. I guess it does. I think it's actually more to pump. Right? Because this is for 4 already.
Oh, yeah, because you just get more hardened skills. Things.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So this gets +4/+4.
No, it gets 3 counters.
Oh, yeah, +3. So is that 1?
So it's a 4.
Up to 4, and then we can activate this, +3, 6, 7, 6, 7. Thank you.
Kill these things. I get 1 Celebrant trigger.
Yeah, kill the Celebrant first.
Yeah.
So down to 5. Witness down to 4. Kill the token for the Witness down to 3. And then attack for...
15.
Yeah, and then ping your face.
Yeah, so I ended up at 17. The attack brings me to 2, and then you have 10 pinks.
And then, just
negative 8. Yeah.
Well, we were not in the walking ballista waiting room for very long. I'm a very impatient waiter, if people who don't know me, so I don't like to wait very long.
That entire game just hinged on Ballista. I think I would have been able to stall for long enough to get the Westville Abbey off.
Yeah.
Without the Ballista.
Oh, yeah, the whole game is completely different without Ballista.
Yeah.
And I think I needed it that turn. You know, I mean, you were... maybe the
still
turn
only
after.
had the 4 mana, but I think the turn after would have been fine.
But if anything, you're just getting so much value off Midnight Reapers and stuff like that, so...
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? You want to still do the pre and then post? I think that's a good way to do it with previews season, you know?
Definitely.
We're really just trying to figure out what's good in the main deck and before we bring in any sideboard help. All right, Rob, time for some questions. You got some good ones?
Yeah, we got a few here.
All right.
All right, so first for you, Ross. Draxinator wants to know, why are you playing Murder Strider instead of Grim Horospex?
I mean, Midnight
Or Midnight Reapers. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Because Haruspex doesn't trigger when it dies. So Midnight Reaper, you guarantee value. And the life loss is pretty easy to mitigate.
Is Grim whatever, does that count tokens?
No, it also says non-tokens. You just don't lose the life.
Yeah, you don't lose life, but Haruspex doesn't count itself.
Yeah, I feel like your life total is not very big concern.
Yeah.
In most matchups, like, you know. So I think Midnight Reaper is just an upgrade. Yeah. Because it's like Grim Haruspex. It had like one other weird ability. Didn't it morph or something?
Yeah. Morph for a single black, so.
Yeah.
Not super relevant. But yeah, Midnight Reaper drawing a card, but itself dies.
Yep.
Which is what they want to target anyway. You know, I think is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, because I was in kind of an awkward spot there, like where I just really wanted Midnight Reaper off the board immediately, and you just got an extra card for playing a creature. You know, if that was a Grim Haruspex, it would have been way worse that game specifically. Yeah. You know, and all of them, I completely agree. Let's take one more question, Rob.
Yeah, Histeus Ross for your deck also wants to know, what do you think about Rally the Ancestors? Is that a little too much?
That's
baby.
If you're gonna rally, you gotta really commit to rally, and that's a different style deck. You're playing Stitcher Supplier in that kind of deck.
Yeah.
Maybe you're playing Crocs on that deck. Can you imagine rallying back 3 Croxes?
Holy.
But that
no, rally back 3 Croxes with Broodmoth.
Rally with Broodmoth is also kind of neat, though. Usually with rally, you didn't want to play more expensive cards, but if you're able to rally things with Broodmoth and a sack outlet, then you're just gonna keep all your stuff.
Broodmoth? Can we be like an Esper rally deck and play Jace? Because, I mean, Jace was always really sick with rally, right?
Yeah.
Because it comes into play, you get to draw a card, exile it, comes back as a Planeswalker, and then you can Fatal Push or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I could see trying to do that, but it's a very different deck.
Yeah.
You know,
and you couldn't play Collected Company. I'm just thinking the standard version where that rally deck was insane.
Yeah. You're playing Jace, maybe you can play Reflector Mage, Deputy of Detention still.
Yeah.
You're not playing Mayhem Devil in this kind of deck. You are not going to play Hangerback Walker in this kind of deck.
Definitely not.
You're not going to go as hard on the sacrifice synergies. You're going to be more of a graveyard deck. Maybe you play Croxa if you're Mardu. Maybe instead you're Esper and you've got some escape stuff with.
I think you'd still play Mayhem
Rider.
Devil. I mean, it depends on how many colors you could have.
Yeah.
But like bringing a bunch of stuff back and just having sack outlets like Aristocrat, Nantuko Husk.
Yeah, you definitely play some sack outlets, and you can play. You can play other ways to trigger like Cruel Celebrant. There's also Zulaport Cutthroat.
Yeah.
There are other ones. I just think you really want to be Esper to play Jace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you'd probably play Grim Horror Specs in that deck. You know, if you're trying to rally combo, because you don't want to lose that much life. That might actually be an ability, but
you gotta, when you're building around Rally, you've got to build around Rally as much as possible.
And you got to say it like that too.
Yeah.
You got to build around it. Yeah. But yeah, good suggestion. I mean, that got my brain flowing a little bit. I love Rally. Rally is an awesome deck.
Another one lander, got to send it back.
All right. My hand is not anything great. We have a lot of ways to help out with the tokens, but we don't really have a ton of token generators here. But this is still a fine hand. We're not sending this back, but it's nothing amazing by any means. All right, one more question from you, Rob.
Yeah, Jay Gomez CF wants to know, last time on Versus Live, Ross, you were kind of down on Tri-Lands in Standard. Why do you think they make the format a little worse?
I mean, I'm just personally down on them because it's a lot of ETB tapped lands with them and temples.
Yeah.
And I hate my lands entering tapped. It's like my least favorite thing in Magic. So that's more of a personal thing.
Yeah.
I also think it makes it very difficult to build multicolored aggressive decks.
Have you been wronged by a Temple of Tilts in your day as well?
Many times. So, I think Standard is going to end up being a lot of monocolored aggro decks and then 3 and 4 color mid-range and control decks. Because if you want to play aggro in order to be consistent, you need to only play one color to have your lands enter untapped. And you sacrifice a lot of power in doing so. And then the mid-range and control decks are going to stumble more often, but they're going to be significantly more powerful.
Yeah.
And it's just, personally, I'd prefer a format that's a little bit more open than that.
Well, I agree with you. I do not think there's a world where your Mardu sacrifice deck that you built is not going to have a playing part. And I don't think it's going to play Trinomes. I don't think it's going to be monocolor. So it doesn't fit the mold that you're describing there. Because I think that deck's going to be powerful. And I think that's going to be a tier 1 staple for a while.
I mean, that deck is certainly not, it's not really an aggro deck. That is kind of a mid-range deck, but it's a lower curved one.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm not at the point where I'm calling any deck awesome. That deck is sweet. It's one of the better decks
and Jeskai
for a couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know if you're doing the streamer showdown as well for tomorrow, but that's we're all we're playing all the fun ideas. And those are the 2 decks I'm starting with is Jeskai, which I really loved, and I want to get rid of some of the cycling stuff that we played, and just
play the ultimatum,
play Narset, play the ultimatum, and do that kind of stuff. And that sacrifice deck. Those are the 2 I'm starting with. So
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the world would like to see you stream it, so you better get on in there.
Oh my god. Just have 3 blood crypts, 4 white cards.
Yes.
Deck is not cooperating right now.
Yes. All right. If you got one more, Rob, I know we're asking you dry.
Malfic Pharaoh wants to know, what do you think about the Tri-Lands in older formats, specifically ones where you can fetch them?
So I think, Pioneer, we're going to see the same kind of thing we're going to see in Standard. Like, just, it's going to help out these slower decks. It may slow down the format because mana is going to be great. And that could be scary, like Ross is saying. But yeah, for Modern, I mean, I don't see it being like a 4 of in all of your, Teamer, Rosa, or whatever, playing 4 of those. But I definitely see these decks playing 1 and just being a very good fetch land target, for like turn 1 when you're not doing anything like that. So I think it's going to see play, but I really don't, in my mind, see just 4 of in every Teamer deck or 4 of in every Esper deck.
I'm not even sold that you want to play any.
Yeah.
In Modern.
I think 1 in these.
Murmuring Bosk has been illegal in Modern the entire time. Nobody plays that card ever.
What's that?
It's the
right?
It's a forest.
Yeah.
You can fetch it with any green fetch land. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you reveal a tree folk from your hand. Then it enters untapped. It taps for green because it's a forest, but it can also tap for black or white, but with a pain. So it's Caves of Koilos and a forest stapled together.
Yeah. Well, that's much worse than these lands, right?
I mean, it could also enter untapped if you happen to have tree folk in your deck. Right? Yeah. Nobody does, but these always enter tapped. Like, they add 3 colors of mana. I guess so, like, this one cycles later.
Yeah.
Like they're better,
Yeah.
but like that card has literally never seen play, and nobody's ever questioned whether or not it's seen play. So,
But has there been a good Abzan deck? You know, I mean, there's good teamer decks in Modern, you know, and there's good Grixis decks like Grixis or Urza or whatever, but
over the course of Modern's history, people have played Absent. Like Siege Rhino saw playing Modern back in the day.
yeah. I remember the good days.
Yeah. So, maybe you play one. Yeah, I could see that, but I don't know. Like
we're not a believer here, huh? I think it's going to be a staple one in decks where you play all three colors, but I don't think it's going to be crazy outside of that or wreck the format or anything.
Okay, well, I'm just going to keep all of my cheap cards so I can
cast them.
Have a good opening and then hope to draw well after that. And we'll start on Bloodsoaked Champion.
Alrighty,
you're up.
Well, that was a pretty good draw. Let's go with a Hardened Scales. Pass to you.
So you're at 18?
Yes, sorry. I thought that was the other one.
Thought it was a Blooming Marsh.
Yep.
Don't worry, I see through you. I'm going to go to 18 and play Cartel and get in for 2.
Okay, 18 all. I'm down to 16.
Yep, you're up.
Some pretty good options here. Now it's to set up and have a really big turn next turn, or just kind of pump the brakes a little bit here and just play something to stall out Ross. And I think that's the plan since he's low on resources. So we're just going to play a 2/2 hanger back. Pass to you.
Okay, attack for 2.
And I mean, you can just raid that back if I blocked, so that seems pretty weak. I'll take 2.
You go to 14.
Yep.
And I have a Hunted Witness.
Okay.
And a pass of the turn.
I'm really glad that these don't gain protection from artifacts.
Yeah. Very annoying in this specific matchup.
Yeah.
Aristocrat plunking in for 2 a turn is really where it shines.
Yep, 100% agree with you. Okay, we're gonna go with a Mimic on Construct.
Yep.
And pass to you. Just gonna go for the hanger back or have Disruption open.
Attack for 2.
I'll block. Put a counter on it. Or attempt to.
I will Fatal Push it in response.
Okay, so I get 2 flying Nick Millers.
Yep. Then I'll play another Hunted Witness.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
And these are Thopters, right? So they wouldn't get counters anyways, but... Okay. Well, I'm sure this is a pretty good play. So we get a Ballista here for 1, which upgrades to 3. And get a Ghost Fireblade that's not going to be doing much. And now the question is, do I want to get in there at all? And I think we can safely attack with 1.
That's 17.
All right, pass to you. Now we got a loaded Ballista here, ready to pick off some things here. That's going to put the pressure on you to deal with it. And then, like, even if it dies to a Fatal Push, I just play Luris, and now you have to deal with that, too. Like, seems, Luris seems pretty sweet. I guess let's put this over here.
You're up.
Okay. No point in sacking at end step. All right, we're going to go with a second Hardened Scale and a second Walking Ballista. 4 counters here. And now let's safely attack with these 2.
15.
Your turn. Walking Ballista is the bane of Aristocrats decks, that's for sure.
You can go.
Could I have played this for just a 3/3, right? That works with that since it pumps the... No, because it would just die right away, right? Each other creature you control enters the battlefield with an additional... Oh, with an additional. I think with the word additional on it, it means that it only pumps if it has a counter on it, right?
Metallic Mimic just gives them counters.
So this would just enter as a 3/3?
Well, it's not a construct.
Oh, well, that helps.
That's your problem.
If I name Snake.
Yes.
Okay. I'm smart, I swear.
You know what they say, reading is fundamental.
Fundamentally boring. All right, let's go with a equipped. And kind of thinking if I want to start getting froggy with these, and I kind of don't think I do. So we're just going to attack for 4. No point in being super aggressive.
I'm at 11.
All right, we'll play Lyris. Go. Oh, wait, sorry. I'll play this. Wait, that actually does work, doesn't it? Oh, God. I was joking, but that is actually sick. Wow. Wow. Okay. All right, Lyris. I'm not worthy. The kitty king or queen here. This artwork does not depict too much. That is busted.
End step, I'll sack this and push the Lyris.
Okay.
This Lyris has been incredibly annoying.
Yeah, just you didn't have to put the annoying part. It's just been incredible.
Yeah, really has.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of want to play 2 in the deck. Oh wait, you can't. Never mind. Okay.
Access to the 1 out of the sideboard every game is so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just really wrenches anybody who's trying to be reactive.
Okay.
And then Ballista means your synergies trump mine.
Yep. I'll attack. Yep. That'll be a tough one to come back from. Well, I once again just had an opening hand with scales, this, and just drew 2 ballistas. Turns out.
Yet to see Broodmoth, because I just haven't gotten to 4 mana.
Yeah. Yep.
But we're going to take a quick break here, get some sideboard set up, see if I can get some extra removal to help out and break up some of these powerful synergies from the Scales deck, and we will finish out this match on Versus Live. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Mardu Sacrifice and Golgari Scales. On my side, I'm just bringing in every card on my sideboard that can kill a creature.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Every
smart.
single one of them.
That's smart. I hate seeing this. Liliana has always really been a huge problem against Metallic Mimic.
Yep.
Believe it or not, that is just insane.
Yeah, Liliana, 2 Braids, Fatal Push. These are, obviously great in the matchup. And then I was initially not going to bring in Murderous Riders, but after those first 2 games, just
kill
seeing,
anything,
I need to kill. I need to kill Lyris every game.
Yeah.
Because you have it every game.
Yep.
I need to kill every Ballista. I need to kill a Winding Constrictor, hopefully, and probably steal Overseer.
Yeah.
I need to kill every single one of those cards all the time. So I'm going to have 9 removal spells and Mayhem Devil to do it with, and we'll see how that goes. And because I'm slowing down, I'm going to get less aggressive. These Bloodsoaked Champions are pretty weak, and then we'll trim back on some of our most synergistic pieces. Okay. I'd rather have Mayhem Devil than Celebrant, because Mayhem Devil can kill creatures.
Yep.
And
it's an important aspect.
1 Hangerback Walker can get cut, because we're not going to have these combo kills when we're down on Celebrants and 1-drops, and we're replacing them with removal.
Cool. And I am kind of doing the exact same thing. I am bringing in a ton of removal because you're once again a deck that really wants pieces to the puzzle to be completed, and then your deck's busted, right? But if I'm able to pick apart these things, it works great. I'm a little worried about Heartless Act because you do have, ways to put counters on with Broodmoth and stuff, but it is also just the thing I point at Broodmoth. Is it Broodmoth or Broodmother? I forget.
Broodmoth.
Broodmoth. Okay.
Luminous Broodmoth.
Broodmoth. Okay. So, just bringing in a bunch of removal. Scavenging Ooze is pretty good up against your escape creatures. Maybe could, take these if you left them in, as well as any of the creatures when they have the Broodmoth's trigger on the stack.
Can also hit Woe Strider or escapes.
Yeah, and I mean, most of the time, unless I have Ballista, I'm going to need maybe some mana sinks as well, just because I do top out at 2. So most of the time, I'm going to have plenty of things, plenty of extra mana left over. And then I'm going to take out Ghost Fireblade. While we saw it being decent there at closing a clock, it was a win more. I didn't need that. I'm going to win with synergizing my creatures together, not getting in a couple extra attacks here and there. My whole goal is to control you until I am able to start taking over. So this is kind of the exact opposite of that. Same with Gingerbread. It's just barely playable and limited. So, I mean, maybe it's...
You mean Pioneer Staple Gingerbread.
Sorry. The staple cookie.
And as long as you can make it a 5/5, which your deck can.
That's true. No, the card is fine. And honestly, the one cool thing I like about Gingerbread is if we get tokens on this is the only card that synergizes really well with Ozolith. Because it has the sacrifice ability. So if we can get some tokens onto this with Steel Overseal, this is a instant speed sacrifice to put cards onto the Ozolith combat, put it onto something else. That's just a little too cute in this matchup. And then Stone Serpent dies to all your removal because all your removal is single colored and it attacks through multicolored, sure. But we're taking out 2, leaving 2 in. All right. And I don't know when I'm supposed to announce this, but it's here.
Got any questions for us, Rob, while we shuffle up for game 3?
I do. Fabman652 wants to know, any reason there's no cat oven combo in your Mardu deck?
Just hard to fit in, and I don't think, like, you know, relative to the other options you have, it's not as powerful. You just have other things. I like the aggressive element the Bloodsoak Champion gives you.
Yeah.
The card is very good. And, you know, granted, Cat Oven is quite good with Luminous Broodmoth. But I don't think you need to, you know, make 8 slots for it.
And I think the main thing is yeah, we've proven that is a good combo, right? And that's a good thing in Standard that we're going to do. But the whole point in trying out Pioneer stuff is to try out new ideas and see if there's a new direction that this Mardu Sacrifice deck can go into. And I like the direction that you chose. It's just, okay, I can attack too. You know, I can give the beatdowns, and then you don't have to go all in on Aristocrats as much because your Bloodsoak Champion could deal 6. And like, that compared to a Cat Oven is already pretty close, you know, and you can pressure Planeswalkers. Cat Oven, think about that against Inverter. That's not good, you know, like that's not exactly what you want to be doing, but attacking with cheap black creature has been effective because mono black aggro has been winning like every Pioneer tournament, I feel, you know?
Yeah. So it's just about being, I think, a little bit more consistent. Like, you don't need to draw both pieces. A little more self-contained, and you're not really losing any significant pressure. Though Cat Oven is, you know, it does help out with some of your synergies.
Yep, so. I agree. Let's take one more question from you, Rob.
All right, Master Neo wanted to know what's the turning point in testing where you go from just trying out new cards to refining decks to try to create a metagame or, you know, fight a metagame.
Basically, when I give this look to what Ross is doing over across the table or to my own deck, that's when it's time to be like, okay, it's time to maybe focus on this deck a little bit more and see if it has legs. Like, you know, we were just trying things all last week and, you know, the week before. And like just trying things, and some stuff surprised us, some stuff just looked okay. But when you really look at a deck and you're like, this is insane, that's when, if we were testing for a Mythic Championship or whatever, we'd be like, okay, we want to lean into these Mardu Sacrifice and Standard or Jeskai because they really impressed us last week.
And you'll start seeing that, you know, this week and next week with the early access event on Arena. People are going to be trying out new ideas. And from the result of that, there's going to be some hype around certain cards, certain decks, and then we'll start seeing those coalesce into a metagame. So we're in that transition stage.
No, we're seeing coalesce here. And a spoiler to our show on Thursday, we want to take some sweet decks from this streamer showdown and see people see the public refining these decks that they're really thinking about, maybe basing some off the other ones. So I'm pretty excited for that show as well.
Okay. I'm once again on the play, and I get to keep 7 cards for the first time.
Wow.
So that's great.
And my hand is still fine, so I'm going to keep as well.
Start on a Gala Shrine.
All right. I'm going to start on the only thing that can't really die, a Scales.
You're 18.
Your go.
Not a bad draw. I will shock to 18 and play a Hangerback on 1.
Okay.
Pass.
Kind of an awkward draw on our part. Well, maybe not. I guess I can kind of do some disgusting things here.
It's turn 2.
Yeah. All right. We'll name Construct and play these, I guess. Is that good? Wow. Okay, your turn.
Was that good?
Is that a high score? Did I break it? Which format are we in again? Is this Legacy versus Live?
You have a Mox Opal hanging up somewhere?
Yeah, I don't. Is it underneath or is my power? Did I still need to draw power? Did we decide to play Vintage?
So I'm at 16 right now.
Okay.
You've made 10 power on turn 2.
And the crazy thing is, if I like go land next turn, I could just like sack Ballista, kill some things, play Luris, play a Ballista for 2.
Go.
Okay. I will attack. Yeah, that was nice. That was a nice turn too. I kind of didn't fathom like how good that turn was actually going to be. I was just going to play Hangerback, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Walk a Hangerback Walker.
Okay, pass priority.
Fatal Push Walking Ballista.
In response, ping.
Response, add a counter.
In response, ping.
I will get a Thopter and take 4.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So you go to 12. All right. I will play Luris and then 2/2 Ballista.
Here it's 17.
Yeah. Go.
Imagine looking away from the stream for just a moment and then coming back.
If you're like, why is Corey cheating so much on Versus Live?
I will go to 10
Okay.
and abrade the Luris and play Cartel Aristocrat.
Abrade Luris, Cartel. Okay.
Pass. Can't beat a land, can't beat most spells.
Let's go with ping.
Sack.
Push.
I'm dead. You have 9 damage and ping me with Ballista.
Yep. That was busted. That was absolutely Lurisy. That was completely Lurisy.
Just made 10 power on turn 2. It's like I got quad Burning Tree Emissary.
Yeah. Except all these Burning Tree Emissaries, if you ever were to mass kill them, they're coming back.
Yeah, and like the Luris was a problem in every single game.
Yeah.
This deck looked great.
This deck looked really good. And honestly, it is by no means part because of Ozolith.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing that wanted to build this deck. That was the idea behind the deck. And it looked terrible. Every time I drew it, even in our practice games, I was like, this card does nothing. Against heavy removal decks, it's going to be better, but I really think Ozolith is a modern card, because if you pair that with Arcbound Ravager, and you can sack something modular onto something, except the tokens also go onto that, right? Like, you can modular onto something.
You get double modular is my understanding.
Yeah. So, like, I think Ozolith is for that, but Luris is for Pioneer. And I just think Luris is probably the best companion in a vacuum for the broad spectrum of Magic. Just because it's going to fit into a lot of powerful decks, and I think this is one of them.
It's particularly awesome in this one because, one, you have several creatures that are incredibly good and demand removal spells.
Yeah.
Like, the ones I mentioned, Winding Constrictor, Walking Ballista, and Steel Overseer.
Yeah.
That can take over the game. And you do it in a reasonable time frame, so you force them to have a lot of removal quickly.
Yeah.
And you have a bunch of zeros that you can play once you have Metallic Mimic.
Yeah,
So
this paired with Mimic, it's very important.
Yeah, sometimes you get to Lurrus, tap out for it, and still have something to bring back immediately, get your value.
I mean, I did that twice, right? I did that 2 out of 3 games.
It was Lurrus looked unbelievably good, and that deck looked.
It looked really good.
Wow.
Scales is back. And I mean, you think about this, every single Pioneer deck has to pass the inverter test to me, and I don't know if it does. You know, I mean, the one other point on this is it's really good with this deck. The deck requirement is not bad because of all the X spells, and those scale up. You know, the more mana you draw, you're still able to play a 3-drop for the Serpent or whatever.
Or so 4-drop with your Hangerbacks and Ballistas. So you're not sacrificing a ton in terms of your mana efficiency in those turns 3 through 6. But you get this extra card that works really well with the deck. This is the best home for Lurrus I've seen, I think.
For sure. Can you imagine if we still had Veil?
Unfortunately, on my side, I did not cast a Luminous Broodmoth in all 3 games. I just got run over by Walking Ballista. Some of the draws didn't cooperate. The real issue is that the rest of the deck does not seem powerful enough. And though I think Broodmoth is a good card and probably good enough for Pioneer, I'm just not sure you have the ability to assemble those synergies fast enough for the way that Pioneer goes. You have the threat of dying on turn 5 from these different combos, maybe turn 4 from Lotus Breach. You need to have removal for other powerful synergistic decks. But this deck, in order for your synergies to come together, you need to use a lot of slots. You need your enablers, you need your sacrifice outlets, you need your drain effects, blood artist type effects, and then we have trying to play Broodmoth on top of it. You just don't have a lot of room for all that other disruption, and so you're kind of vulnerable from a lot of different angles if the other people's synergies are more powerful than yours.
And Fatal Push is a problem for the deck. I mean, we kind of said that. One thing that I kind of just had a brain explosion about is, what if we didn't have Broodmoth and you play Lurrus and you play Rally, and you just have 1 and 2 drop rallies. You play Stitcher Suppliers. I don't know what colors this would be, but you could play Satyr Wayfinder. You could be Golgari.
You can still play Kroxa.
It could be, it could be whatever kind of colors, but just 2 drops that are insane with Rally, because Rallies you can still cast as well with this, and that's something to maybe brew. I just want to brew Lurrus decks now. I think this cat is not a nightmare; it's a dreamboat.
That's a cool sounded deck,
right?
I kind of want to be Jund to somehow splashing Rally.
Yeah.
I don't know how we make that work, but I'm sure we can make it work. It'll be fine.
I think we can make it work. Even if it was just Jund, I mean, it's just got to be Rally for that kind of deck, I feel. But we're going to continue on the brainstorming. You do the same. Let us know if you have any sweet Lurrus ideas here for Pioneer, because, well, I think we're both pretty excited about this card. And somebody who asked that question earlier, when does a deck where you're just trying things become something that you focus on? Right here. Right now. That's how it works. That's the process. So
you spend the early time exploring, and over that exploration, certain things pop out and impress you. We saw Luminous Broodmoth be impressive in Standard, so I tried it here in Pioneer. Didn't really come together. We saw Lurrus be really impressive, so now we've just started brainstorming other ways to utilize it.
And we better bring a Lurrus deck to Versus Live on Thursday, is all I'm saying. I'll be in charge of that. Did I need another cat to love? I mean, Lurrus is my savior for Felidar Guardian going away, so yes.
There's a lot of cats. Felidar Guardian, Cauldron Familiar, Lurrus.
Yeah.
We're starting to get cat lords. Pretty soon there's going to be a cat tribal deck in construction.
Oh my god.
I don't know when it's going to be over the top, but pretty soon, they're printed so many cats now.
Pretty soon. I can already feel for my allergies right now. All right, y'all, we are going to take a 5-minute break here, and then we are going to bring you round 2, where I think I'm playing my favorite deck that we have so far. I'm bringing back Is It Phoenix, except we got some great additions from Ikoria in the form of Sprite Dragon and Riley, I believe it's called? Rael, okay. And Rael to try out with some, as well as Cathartic Reunion to try out as well. So what are you going to be bringing?
I'm going to be playing a Simic Devotion deck with Kinnan. So trying to utilize that in place of where they used to have Leyline of Abundance. So we're going to make a bunch of extra mana with our mana creatures, cast some big Hydro Crises. You know the drill.
Oh, wait a minute. Do you have a Nissa? Okay, well, we're going to be 1-1 after next round. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then I'll be back to lose to Nissa Who Shakes the World.